Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I've rounded up some of my favorite techniques for changing the color or tone of thrifted pieces. So we'll talk about some techniques for wood, for vessels, for florals, and more. Let's get started. So first up, let's talk about wood, because I know a lot of projects and DIYs that come up involve wood. So the first thing that I want to point out is that good old-fashioned sanding and staining is often a great choice, and I don't think that's an option that should be shied away from or that it should be considered as just too hard, because that is oftentimes just not the case at all. You don't have to have a special workshop or anything fancy, just a small space outdoors to be able to sand a piece. And sometimes, depending on what you're going for, just simply sanding down a piece that is stained in a color that you don't like fixes the problem all on its own. For instance, take a look at this counter height chair that I picked up at the thrift shop for just a few dollars. I didn't like the yellowy tone of the wood though, but I figured I would take a look at what sort of wood was underneath, so I just used my sander on this and discovered that it was a white oak underneath, and it was really beautiful. And the same situation happened to me on a beautiful coffee table that many of you on this channel have seen before. This was only $50 at Goodwill near me, and it's so sturdy and just wonderfully made, but again, I didn't like the color that it was stained, so I decided to just first start sanding and see what sort of wood was under it again, and this was a beautiful white oak underneath, and that's all I needed to do for what I wanted for my aesthetic. It was just to sand away the stained portion and reveal that, and then top it off with a flat top coat. So for sanding off an existing stain or paint, you have to use a low enough grit sandpaper to effectively sand it so that it won't take forever. A lower number grit means that it's rougher, and a higher number grit means that it's smoother. I found out the hard way that it takes forever to sand down a piece if you're using like a 220 grit sandpaper, for example. Go on down to 100 or even 80 grit to make that a faster process, and then you can back up and finish with successively higher grits to get a smoother surface again once the stain or paint is removed. Just sanding and restaining is a great option for larger solid pieces, especially with straight sides that are easy to sand. I like to apply stain with either a brush or a staining sponge. Now let's move on to another product called antiquing wax. In particular, I've grown to like this technique of using a gray paint with an antiquing wax over it for a really nice neutral brown wood look. So take this little stool that I picked up from a yard sale for just $5 for an example, and you can see that it's a very strange sort of marble colored wood with two different colors, and that was just not going to work with my styling at all. So I wanted to do something to this stool, and with the fluting on the legs plus the fact that it was two tones already, sanding it down was just not an option for me. So first I went in with this gray spray paint, which I will link in the description box, and I covered up the whole piece, and then this is going to sort of become a very vague background color for the antiquing wax. It seems like a mistake when you're looking at it in this first step and it's just going to be way too gray, but with the antiquing wax over it, it really does look beautiful. So once that spray paint is complete, I went in with this antiquing wax by Krylon. This color is called Dark Vintage, and I just brushed it in the direction that the wood grain was going and brushed an even coat over the piece. This product is very easy to work with, and it has some give on the dry time so that you can adjust your brush strokes after you've completed a section of your piece. So afterwards, this stool is the perfect neutral brown color for what I was looking for. And also I wanted to show you what this same antiquing wax looks like if you applied it over a surface that is a creamy beige color. And you can see that on this little storage cabinet. This is the resulting color when you apply it over a cream instead of over a gray. You can see that it's a lot warmer in this case. And then one more example, you might remember me building this rustic skinny bench in a previous video, and this is what that same antiquing wax looks like over raw pine with no coat of paint underneath, so that can be an option as well. Now before I move on from wood, let's just quickly talk about a couple of wood stripping options. So Citrus Strip is a very popular product for stripping stain from wood, and of course that's nice because even if there are more complicated to sand shapes, you can get into those crevices. I've used citrus strips several times, and I have to say that while it is the best option for some pieces, I'm sure, I don't personally enjoy using it because it can be so messy, and depending on what you're stripping, it can create this very sticky goo. Another option that became pretty viral a couple years back was to use Easy Off oven cleaner as a stripping agent, and I've tried that method also, and I will say that it's less messy in my opinion. So with this method, you simply spray down the wooden piece that you want to remove the stain from with this oven cleaner, and you wait, let it sit for about 15 minutes, and then you rinse it off with water, and you also kind of scrub it with a brush as you do so, and it pulls the stain right out of the wood. You can't tell at first when it's wet, but once the wood dries, it's a lot lighter. And I can vouch that this works pretty darn well. I had picked up this little picture frame from the thrift store, for example, and I liked the simplicity of it, and the size was perfect for something that I needed, but I didn't like the color. So as you can see, I tried this method and it ended up producing this beautiful neutral pale wood. And I also did this on a wooden coat rack that had a very orangey stain, and again, it pulled the stain right out. The before and after kind of speaks for itself here. But also be aware that in addition to removing the stain, it can impart a sort of gray undertone on the wood, and for me, that was exactly what I wanted. Now the next tone changing technique can definitely be used on wood as well, but I'm going to focus on baskets, and it's called tan washing. This is paint washing, which is mixing paint with water to thin it out and using a tan or beige colored paint when you're doing so. Tan washing is a great technique to keep in your pocket when you're thrifting for baskets because you can often find lots of baskets at thrift stores, but I find that they are often not the tone that I want. So check out this umbrella basket. I found it at a yard sale for just $3 several years ago. It's quite orangey, and I'm just going over it with my tan wash mixture, which is 1-to-1 water and beige paint. And once I have a section covered, I just wipe some of that lightly back off with a paper towel and then let it dry. You can do multiple coats of this if you need to, but you can see here how just one coat made a really huge difference in this basket. I used the same technique on these bamboo blinds that I thrifted. The right side is tan washed and it looks way more subdued and neutral for my home. I also used this technique on this lovely console cabinet from Nathan James. The shape of it is stunning, but it was leaning a little too warm for my taste, and as you can see, the paint wash toned it right down. Now I want to turn my attention to two of my favorite tone changing techniques for vessels and also other ceramics. I really love this aging technique where you first do a textured base coat of paint, mixing paint with baking soda, and then you use paint colors stippled over top of that to create this aged color of your choice. So for this project, I wanted to give this ceramic lamp a facelift, so I started with one coat of a grayish paint mixed with a couple tablespoons of baking soda, and this created a more textured look at the base than just paint alone, and it added to the finished look. And next I went over the first layer and stippled on some brown paint. In this case, the color I used was called Burnt Umber, and I did also mix in a dab of black with that as well to cool it off a little bit. I'm just dabbing the paint on with a wet paper towel and going back and forth between the brown and the initial grayish color. And this technique creates a lot of layering and color variation that makes it look more like an aged vessel. Since more discoloration would naturally occur around the handles and the top and bottom rims, I go in with a little bit of a darker color in those areas. And you can also go in with one final layer of some watered down brown paint by itself for the final touch. And I love the way this thrifted lamp turned out when I was finished. Another technique to achieve an aged vessel look for ceramics that I enjoy is to start with a light or white paint base and then stipple watered down antiquing wax over top of that until you get the desired effect. The nice thing is that you can use as much or as little antiquing wax as you want for a more subtle or dramatic aged look. This little crock was only a couple of dollars at the thrift store, and I love the shape of it, but I didn't like the print on the sides, so I used this technique. I think it turned out really pretty and just has a nice neutral and effortless antique look when it's finished. One trick that I like to use on florals that are too bright is to give them what I call a chocolate wash to tone down the color. I found these stems at the thrift store, but the yellow was too bright for my style, so I went over them with a mixture of half water and half brown paint. I just rubbed that over each leaf with a soaked paper towel, and once that dries on top of the foliage, it gives it a more muted look while still allowing the base color to shine through. And of course, I can't let this video finish up without talking about Rub and Buff, which is one of my favorite products. It is so handy for changing the tone of a metallic finish or even creating a metallic finish on something that isn't originally metal. It's not very expensive, and one little tube of it goes a very long way. So you just rub some on with your fingertips and spread it around. It doesn't take very long to dry either, and it doesn't have much of a smell. My favorite shade is European Gold, but some of the other shades are also really beautiful. I know that Jenna Sue Designs has a lovely blog post showing the differences between the gold shades, so I'm going to link to that in my description box. These napkin rings, for example, that I thrifted for just 99 cents for the pack in a recent video, looked so much more modern after a coat of Rub and Buff that took not more than 2 or 3 minutes to apply to the whole set. I hope that some of these tone-changing DIY techniques were helpful to you, maybe for an idea for a thrift find that you feel needs a little makeover in your home. I encourage you to keep treasure hunting at your local secondhand stores and see what you can bring into your home for a whole lot less than retail as well. Hope that everyone listening has a fantastic week, and as always, I'll see you at the next video.